And nobody will ever get to know what our pre-show conversation was. Our pre-show conversation.
Pre.
A disgusting playback of my burp that I recorded. I'm saving people from lowbrow comedy.
It's not lowbrow.
It's lowbrow. A giant, disgusting burp that I recorded into the microphone, and then we slowed down and lowered the pitch. We really analyzed that thing.
It was cool. It ended up being kind of cool.
Well, yeah, slowed down. It sounded like a dinosaur growl from Jurassic Park.
Yeah, just play it slowed down.
It's gone. I deleted it. It doesn't exist.
Oh, you pizza.
I mean, I guess I can stop the recording, undo the deletion, bring it back. All right, 1 second. It's so disgusting.
It's not disgusting because it's something totally different. It doesn't sound like a burp anymore.
When it's slowed down, yes, it does have a different feel to it, but it's still
amazing.
It's still pretty gross. I'm not usually, I didn't see, this was even before you joined. For context, I had started the recording, but this was before I even connected to you. So, I'm just alone. And I let a belch out.
A juicy one.
But that really does sound like a dinosaur from Jurassic Park.
Absolutely.
Maybe that was, they always say it's a mixture of what? A lion and an elephant. And that
Chewbacca.
They changed the speeds, but maybe it was just a dude burping. That was the Foley.
Yeah, what is that like sound that how do they make that one?
I know how
that one's elephanty.
I know how they made the water ripple. That was a bass guitar underneath the water.
Ooh.
They would pluck a string. So I guess the amp of the bass guitar. But if I were the Foley guy for Jurassic Park, I think I would have, if I had discovered that my burp could have been the dinosaur growl, all the dinosaur growls would have been different burps of different people on the team, and then that would have been the trivia.
Fun.
The growl was actually a disgusting man belching after a meal of Domino's pizza.
Is that what you had?
No. I would never, come on. Domino's. You think I'd eat Domino's?
Oh, yeah. I guess I forgot that would be insane for you to do.
I ate Papa John's.
There you go. There's the joke.
We get Papa John's once a month.
Once a month?
Yes.
Just to keep old Papa in business?
That stuffed crust, it's delicious. What can I say?
I don't like stuffed crust.
I know that they're late to the game, that Pizza Hut's been doing it for a very long time, but that's a delicious stuffed crust. And their breadsticks are so pillowy. It's like eating a cloud.
Oh, you do like soft food.
So.
Like pierogi.
Yeah, pierogies are delicious.
I don't like them.
They're overpriced these days because this is what people do. They take poor people food and then we spruced it up. Even with pierogies, they don't even spruce it up. They don't do anything different. But grits, I'm thinking grits. Like we spruced it up.
Polenta.
Yeah.
They call it polenta, and then it's like underneath blackened shrimp. It's like, shrimp and grits. No, this is polenta and prawn.
It is insane. Like you hear that about lobster. Lobster used to be for poor people.
It used to be a law that you couldn't feed lobster to prisoners more than once a week.
And now prisoners will be begging for it.
Please give me the lobster. Please. I'm on death row. I want lobster.
And you just give us gruel every day.
Gruel. Just what is gruel?
Gruel's whatever you want it to be. That soon gruel will be the next artisan food.
That'd be amazing. Lines around the block in New York for the new gruel place.
What was that? Hiccup?
Yeah, sorry. I don't know why I'm yawning. It's like all of my bodily functions are happening now.
Gruel is a thinner version of porridge. It's
porridge is the thing where it's like it could be rice, it could be oats.
This is oats, wheat, rye, or rice, as you said, heated or boiled in water or milk. A thinner version of porridge that more often may be drunk rather than eaten. It may not even need to be cooked. Wow, what a delicious meal. I'm sure one of those fancy new restaurants that goes up in Atlanta on Ponce after they knock everything down will serve gruel.
So I remember, on the show, it's hard because, Jared was talking about all those places and how they'll be disappearing and how they're like Atlanta landmarks. And
for our Japanese listeners, I apologize that we're talking about something local in a city that neither of us even live in. But there's businesses along Ponce, as it's pronounced. It's not the correct pronunciation of the man's name, but that's the way they pronounce it in Atlanta. I know that most people who listen to the show are from Atlanta, but some people may not be.
Sure.
There's a corridor of businesses and bars and restaurants and dance clubs that we used to frequent. I spent a lot of my youth in these places.
Why did you say it like that? Youth.
Because I wanted to emphasize it, that it's a long time ago. Youth. It doesn't seem like it was that long ago, but Father Time is having his way.
Wow.
Should be jailed for abuse. Wouldn't you really make that joke? Jesus. Anyway. Okay, go.
Baby ears can't hear the word.
Go ahead and tell your story.
Oh, that Jared was...
Oh, they're being knocked down. We didn't even say the rest. They're being knocked down apparently because some developer came in and said, I like Ponce City Market. I like what it's done for the area. The only measure of success is commerce and money. So now it's time for me to buy out these businesses and build some new boring buildings so people can live.
Just like every other building in Atlanta now.
So people, beloved businesses with character and culture, who gives a shit? I need to make my money. Commercial endeavors and commerce is the way to go. Here is a building that looks like every other building that people will pay a lot of money to live in, and then we will put some restaurant in the bottom that gets awards, and Zagat likes it, and they will serve gruel.
the new hit thing, gruel. The thing was that Jared was talking about it, and it was disappointing only because he was talking about it without having any perspective. Like he was saying they're taking away these places and they're Atlanta institutions, that they've been there. And because then it's really easy to make the argument against that by saying, well, before that, it was something else that was torn down for that, or it was, a field, it was a grassy, whatever. It was farmland before that. Who knows? And so everyone could have that same experience. So it's not a good argument. However, so I was like going with that, like sort of against him, which sucks because on the other hand, I do appreciate his sentiment. Like I understand it does suck when stuff goes away, that you're used to being there. And even the thing about it is it can be, you can make way for growth. You can make way for new, spots to go there instead. But what's disappointing is everything being so generic in Atlanta, where it used to be a city that had some newer things happening, some newer buildings, some interesting whatever, but also had some reverence and some charm because, 100-year-old houses were still sitting there and they weren't dilapidated and like boarded up and falling apart. They were fine. People were living in them, constantly being rented or purchased or whatever. And then all of those little places on Ponce, like it brings an aesthetic to an area. And
it's not even the aesthetic. The aesthetic's ugly. But
that's fine. That's part of it. That's part of that area is a little grungy and a little gritty. It doesn't mean that it has to be dangerous to be interesting. That's not it. But it could. But it's just like the Star Wars prequels. Like everything got too clean and too crisp and shiny. Nothing had any grit for you to latch onto. So when a whole city is too shiny and like clean and the same, you may as well be nowhere. Or everywhere. It doesn't feel like you're in Atlanta anymore.
Well, what lures people there? I guess different things lure different people. There was a time that those kind of places lured people. They liked hanging out there, and now the people who want to live in that area, well, I mean, Jared's hanging out, and he's not necessarily the kind of guy. I don't know. I don't
know what it's like there anymore.
His full extent of how much he wants to venture out and explore places that maybe feel a little dangerous. Not that any of those places are dangerous, but I think at some point, just being in Atlanta, it's like, oh, wow, I'm here hanging out at this darkened bar. I mean, that's what a lot of those places were. Dugan's is becoming a Chick-fil-A.
Wait, what's Dugan's?
Across the street from the local.
Is that what it's called? Dugan's?
Yeah, it's called Dugan's. That's how I pronounced it. There's not a double G.
Okay, what's it really called?
No, it's called Dugan's. It's Dugans.
Oh, okay. I know that place, and for some reason I want it to sound more. It reminds me of the Regular Guys because of something that they would say.
Well, Dugan.
Oh, is it like your dick is like your Dugan?
Yeah, that's what they would use.
Okay, that's what it was. Yeah.
Anyway,
that's gonna be a Chick-fil-A. That's so lame.
Somebody, what do you expect next to Pond City Market? That's what it brings. It brings a Chick-fil-A.
Where like down low black dudes gonna get blowjobs?
Oh, come on! It was for wings.
Oh, right.
Wasn't anything like that.
Yes, it was.
No, it wasn't. Are you just applying the name now because you think it had something to do with dicks? No, I always thought
it was a black gay bar.
No, Dugan's was not.
You sure?
Yes.
Okay.
This is a restaurant. Okay. Friends across the street was the gay bar.
What are you going to Google it? It's not going to be like best black gay bar in town. Hey, if you're on the down low, fellas, come to Dugan.
I don't think that's what it was at all.
I think it's an underground.
How do you know? Where are you getting? You didn't even know what it was.
I did too. I just forgot what it was called. There's no way to find out. You'd have to go on like Reddit.
They had wings. People like the wings, unless that's code for something. But anyway, somebody owned the land. I understand this, and they decided to sell the land. So, the developer can't do anything unless they obtain the land.
Right.
So somebody somewhere said, yeah, I want my money. Fine. So be it. But it just seems to be a lack of understanding as to what makes places interesting. But then again, that's all subjective, and different things, different people find different things interesting. And we're at the point where sterilization is apparently what's interesting for people.
See, I don't think that a developer reflects what the community wants.
They don't.
I think they're just
I think they do reflect to the extent of what can I get out of this, but I guess the community's changed. I guess that area is totally different now. It's not what it used to be. And this is what I think about it. Now,
welcome to One Topic, where we stick to one topic. My name is Autumn Fisher.
My name is Greg Russ.
Thank you for that subtle intro. Now.
Do you have this on a playlist? Do you just listen to our theme?
Oh, I do like the theme. So good. Chill.
Because we're chill dudes.
So chill.
We're just chill people. When people say
chillaxing. How are you doing?
When people say, Greg, that guy's chill.
Oh, that's the only thing people say about you.
Actually, people do. They do think that. They think that I'm chill. People who don't know me so well or aren't close to me, they do say that. I'm not saying they're right. I'm just saying that that's an adjective that is thrown out there.
Huh.
And he's chill. Weird. He's kind of laid back dude.
That's weird. It's weird to think of you as a laid back dude.
Yeah, because I'm not throwing my shit onto people. The people aren't going to get much from me if they don't know me. So, of course, they're going to think that. I'm not going to engage too much. I'm not going to enter conflict unless it's absolutely necessary. I mean, I'm not afraid of conflict. And
nothing wrong with that. That doesn't sound like a negative.
Sure,
but it could be a negative because maybe you need to let things out slowly.
If somebody has an idea, like say at work or something, it's like, yeah, sure. Even if I don't agree with it. If I really believe in something and somebody is opposed or has a different idea that is in conflict, then I will stand up for it. But for the most part, I was like, I don't give a shit. Sure. You want to do that? Fine. Let's just end this conversation. because I'm just going to continue to do my job the way I'm doing my job. And that's going to be that. So and you choose your battles.
Sure.
And there are not many battles I feel like fighting in a work setting. It's like, have your way. It makes you feel better. My job with work is to do my job, do it well, and get the fuck out of Dodge.
Is there ever anything that someone brings to you that you don't feel like arguing about, but you think would not be helpful or beneficial, but you still stay quiet?
Yeah, but no, see, in those instances, if I think it'll make things harder or screw things up, then I'll definitely say something. But for the most part, it just, yeah, that sounds good. Like, oh, what a chill dude.
Wow, that guy's so chill, dude.
Meanwhile, they have no idea that I'm freaking out when I'm starting up my computer because it's slow and I procrastinate. Like I need to join the radio show in the morning at, let's say, 10 a.m. and I decide at 9:58, all right, it's time to get set up, knowing that the equipment takes a little longer to set up and the computer is a bit sluggish. Mm-hmm. I push it and I say, oh my God, don't do this to me. Don't do this to me.
I think you like it.
Every single day.
You kind of like it.
Yeah,
it makes you feel alive.
I think it's part of the routine. I'm sure Christina loves it. She loves hearing me saying, oh my God, don't do this to me. Don't do this to me. Why are you doing this to me?
But I guess maybe it's just like wallpaper. It's like, well, there's that part again.
Those are the kind of things that if you break up, you think you're not going to get that in a new relationship. So you think back on it fondly.
He used to always freak out every day.
Yes.
It was so cute.
Even though I've never dated anyone Southern like that. But sure. This mystery fake girlfriend. Oh, I saw a picture of an ex. I don't need to name her, but.
What's the mean?
I don't know. She looks like she looks like your stereotypical mom, but she's not even a mom. But she just has that look. Like when you're a kid, you're like, that's a mom.
No way.
She used to be cool. She had a really cool haircut at some point and used to be hip and on top of trends and a figure in the scene. Whatever, to the extent. Yeah. The extent that there was a scene in Atlanta.
Yeah.
Things have really shifted.
Who was it? Do I know him?
You know the person, but I don't need to name names.
Just mouth it. I'll see if I can understand.
I think you can figure it out. Somebody whose haircut I liked.
Well, a lot of your girlfriends are based off of hair.
No, but I only dated one specifically because I liked their hair. I dated this person. I liked their hair, but the whole thing was only 4 months long. This is what's insane about it. I call it a relationship. It seems like it was so much longer in my mind. It was so turbulent. Just so much happened. I ate glass at a party to try to show off. Like this was my state of mind. There was a party and I say, you ever see that show, Ripley's Believe It or Not? Here's a guy who eats glass. And then because somebody dropped a glass and it broke and I took a chunk of the glass and bit into it and it cut my mouth and blood's pouring out. And I thought it was cool.
Oh my God. Oh my God. I never knew you ate glass.
Yeah. And I've got a picture of it. I think I'd sent it to Christina a long time ago for some reason.
She's like, hey, full disclosure.
I'm still, I guess it was a warning shot or somewhere inside my head. I still thought it was cool. I was like, hey, here's this cool thing. Look at this cool dude.
Ate glass.
Hey, people did it. Remember Ripley's Believe It or Not?
Yeah, but you're not Ripley's Believe It or Not. And you're not like in Jackass.
I should have been on that show.
But kind of in character at the same time.
I should have been on that show. Oh, come on. Now this photos. Not that it matters because nobody else can see it.
Well, you could post it on our Facebook.
I don't know if other people need to see it. Maybe it just needs to be a secret. A secret time of my life.
It's not a secret because you just told everyone.
Well, yeah, but then people don't need to see the proof. I was just going to show you the proof. I was just looking at it earlier. Now you scroll through pictures and there it is. Look at that big smile on my face.
Mm.
Yeah,
it's all washed out.
What do you mean it's all washed out?
It's like all white. I can't see it.
Now you can.
There you go. Ah, a little bit. Move it down. Oh, wow. Did it hurt your mouth?
Yeah, of course it hurt. But it was cool.
You didn't care. Were you drunk?
Yeah, of course.
Yeah, of course.
Of course, a 24-year-old idiot.
Yeah.
Really just looking like there was going into that relationship, there was no intent on anything lasting. It's like in my mind, it's like, I'm just doing this. This feels wrong, but it's cool. We're both absolutely insane. What a ride this is going to be. It doesn't mean that in the end it doesn't hurt and it's like, this is stupid and there aren't feelings at play.
Yeah, but you're young and you feel like you've got plenty of time to be stupid like that.
Yeah, well,
Carpe diem.
I tried to get most of the stupidity out then, but it still took another decade and a half to get rid of it. Well, it's never going to go away fully. Anyway, what the hell's the topic? Oh, yeah. Let me introduce.
Maybe it's SimCity 2000.
Where's the music? Here we go. Your favorite. You love
the worst music. Sounds like an emergency.
It is pretty bad music for a video game.
It kind of slows down, see?
So you've been playing SimCity 2000.
Yeah. I'm really, really into it. I'm so close to getting the like archipelagos or whatever they're called. It's not called the archipelago. That's like an island chain or something. Whatever they call
the
like,
aggro crags.
Yeah, exactly.
Arcologies.
Arcologies. But it takes like 100 and something thousand population. And I was like building it. I was building my population. And then I came back to my screen. Like I just let it go for a while. Everything was like a well-oiled machine. It was like slowly increasing.
You're just assuming that people know what the hell SimCity 2000 is.
People don't know?
There may be people who have no idea what the hell SimCity is.
Oh, but let me just tell you. So I'll talk about, I'll say what it is, but let me just finish what I was saying was that I came back and I was like a negative. I had like millions of dollars and then I was negative 100 something thousand. Something happened. I don't know what happened, but like my power plant exploded and everybody left and they kicked me out. So I lost the game. I was really sad because that was like the first time I was like, I think I'm going to make it. I'm going to get these arcologies.
Wait, what? They kicked you out of office?
Yeah. Mm-hmm. They run you out of town.
Yeah. I'd like to see what the next mayor did.
Yeah. So anyway, SimCity is a world building game a little bit, but like early world building where you are in charge of city planning. You make roads, you make hospitals and police stations and schools, and you are in charge of the taxes. You need to supply water and power. You have to provide zoos and parks and things. All while building your population.
Yeah, you've really sold me.
Trying to make them happy.
You've sold me. I'm in. If I'm out the door, going to the Best Buy, going to the media play, looking to buy the game, based on your description alone, it's like, wow, this sounds
it's enthralling.
Awesome. It was.
So this is the DOS version, though.
It was a good game. I mean, the first SimCity came out in 1989, and then SimCity.
Yeah, that one was a little. It's clunky. It's weird.
No, it's 89.
At the time, it was fine.
Yeah, it was only 2-dimensional graphics, overhead perspective. And then SimCity 2000, I guess it's all 2D. None of it's really 3D, but there's more perspective because that's an angled quarter angle perspective and a real upgrade. Only 5 years later. I think 94 it came out when 2000 was the branding for everything.
I think so, yeah.
For whatever reason. New and improved, better. 2000. Wait until the new millennium comes along. Everything's going to be great. Little do fucking people know.
But then, also, I think back in 2012 or something like that, another SimCity came out that's also called 2000. But it had a ton of bugs. It was super buggy. But it was really neat. You had to like put bus stops and stuff. It was interesting.
What did they release it on? Was it also a computer, PC?
I think it was through their company, like Maximum or something, or
Maxim.
Maxim?
Mhm.
Okay, yeah, it was through them. So it was
Maxis.
like GA or whatever. GA Sports. It's in the game.
That's EA.
EA Sports. Thank you.
General Admission Sports. Maxis is the
Maxis.
Yeah, Maxis is it. Is the studio that released SimCity. DOS games, just in general. I loved, like, installing DOS games was early exploration with code. You had to open up the DOS prompt and CD / and you had to know what the program was.
Oh, yeah.
To launch it. I really felt like I was on top of the computer world at that point when I could install a game, multiple discs.
Oregon Trail was on 2 discs.
Yeah, you had to switch out the disc. But it did feel like nobody else can just jump into this game because they have no fucking clue how. Certainly my parents didn't. My parents had no idea about anything when it came to computers. So when I was on AOL looking at things I shouldn't be looking at, I didn't know about clearing the browsing history, but they had no clue to look.
I don't think back then there was a browsing history.
There must have been something, some kind of record of it.
Because, well, yeah, some kind, but I don't think it was something that was accessible by the user.
I feel like there was,
back then it was all those rooms that you could go in. It was like all those buttons, remember? For AOL.
But you could still go to the web. You go to the
web.
You would leave AOL. I mean, you were still using AOL to access it, but it's like, all right, I'm leaving the official AOL compound to go out there and check out the rest of the web.
So scary.
But yeah, I mean, these days, kids obviously don't know about it. Like, you're going to teach your kids about browsing history, you're going to use it to catch them. They'll probably learn. It's probably something you learn anyway through your friends when you're a kid these days.
I'm not sure how that works.
Make sure to clear the browsing history. I got caught.
They're not really on the internet. I mean, like, they're not on the web.
Yet. They're going to be soon.
It's all those apps that they like. They're just like playing on the apps. And then like FaceTime. Ellie is FaceTiming her friend while they both play Roblox.
I mean, that's a step up. Soon she'll be FaceTiming strangers.
Well, that was the thing where I joined Roblox because I was playing with her. And I only like to play one game. She's always trying to get me to play Adopt Me, which is, it's so stupid. You just like run around and you like trade people, animals. I have no idea why it's good.
Can you play Roblox alone? Is it a single player thing?
Yeah.
Like, I feel like, okay. I mean, does it?
But it's other people on that server.
Yeah, so you're still required. Like, something like SimCity these days, I feel as though they would want to integrate it. And you have to do deals with other people in other cities, and you need to team up. And then, because other cities are going to attack, and you need to have your allegiances with cities. Like, you make bets with other cities from your sports team. The Llamas is going to play their sports team, the Llamas. That was the default name for the sports team. Mm-hmm. For anyone who didn't know, it was a funny reference, a callback.
You did a good job.
But I'm really getting tired of that. The fact that there aren't too many games that just exist without some online component these days. And I guess the demand is for that. People like it, but I would prefer not to have it.
Yeah, I think if we're talking about Roblox, this one game that I play, which is you like make pizza, you work at a pizza shop. What is
Roblox? You just make things up?
No, there's different servers. There's different games that you play as your Roblox character. So like,
but these games that pop up, is it just like open? It's like, I came up with a game.
I don't know.
Or did they officially release them?
I think I don't know. But there's
users.
One where you like,
it's users program games.
Oh, okay.
And they play games created by other users. I see how that's cool. Like, I can understand that. And as far as Roblox goes, then that's the basis of it. It's not going to be something different. Anyway, go ahead. Your pizza. You make pizza.
Oh yeah, I just run the counter. I like work at a pizza shop and I talk to customers and I get them pizza.
What does that entail?
You pay attention when they want you to take their order and you click on them in time, and then you have an option of 3 things to say and it switches up, and sometimes it's like, what do you want? And sometimes it's like, hi, welcome to like Three Brothers Pizza, or hello, customer, let me know when you're ready, and you choose whichever one you want. And then they take a minute and you have to like wait. And then they tell you their order by just like showing a picture. And you have 4 options in front of you as the cash as the register. And you just select the one that they choose. And then it goes to them. And they're like, cool, thanks. But then you like earn coins, you earn paychecks.
You could go
I don't
work
really know
at
what you buy things with. You buy like upgrades for your house with the coins. I don't really understand that part, but the juggling of they also have drive-through. So if there's no other cashier and you're the only one, then sometimes you have to multitask and help 2 customers and someone at the drive-through at the same time. I like to do.
You could do this in real life and make actual money. You could go work at a pizza counter.
I do like that kind of thing.
Then go work at a pizza counter. Do it a couple nights a week.
Should. I think maybe Starbucks would be better.
No. You think so? Because then you have to make those drinks.
No, that's if you're the barista.
No, but I think they
doing the drive-through.
I thought that they do double duty or something.
Not really. I worked at Starbucks. I have the apron.
What are you doing? Mopping?
No, I worked the drive-through was my favorite. I knew how to make the drinks, but I didn't feel comfortable being put on the drinks because you have to like keep the milks going. You always have to have the right milks.
Well, they pay well, right? You could go make some extra money doing that.
Yeah. You can get healthcare working part-time.
It seems like you just want to interact with people.
Absolutely, I do. I need something like that for real.
What? Interacting?
Mm-hmm.
What is going on with your healthcare?
I have healthcare.
Okay.
I'm on Travis's still.
How long is that going to go on?
I don't know. I guess if he and Allison get married, then I can't be on his healthcare anymore, I would guess.
Yeah. I feel like you have a full-time job. They need to be giving you healthcare.
Yeah, I'm still part-time.
I know. It's pretty ridiculous. I think that's something that you got to start working on. Well, there's nobody to work on it with because there's no boss.
Absolutely. So what the fuck? And I've lost, and not me personally, women really, gotten a blow from the world. So it's just super cool. Just the world.
It is ridiculous that they're not giving you health care right now. You've been working in this place doing a job that other people do. It doesn't matter the hours in a week. And we're not counting hours, but the number of days you're there is full time. Well, don't have enough money. The economy's bad. The economy's always bad.
Who do I talk to?
I don't know who you talk to, but you got to start figuring that out.
Yeah.
I don't know. I'm not involved in too much. I don't know people in the building, and I know that
I don't either.
I know there's some kind of turnover right now, and but I'm so sick of radio claiming poverty constantly.
Yeah.
We love money.
I've been practicing the voiceover stuff.
Well, good, but voiceover, you have to really establish yourself and still then pay out of your ass to get health insurance. Well, whatever. Let's get back to SimCity 2000 because that's what we're...
Well, in a way, we're constructing our own futures.
There was a whole... Yeah, I played SimCity, and there was a... Simulation games are interesting because really when you think... I understand building a city, running the city. It can be complex and layered, and there's joy in it. In general, the lengths that people go... Sometimes with simulation games, I'm thinking mostly of Microsoft Flight Simulator, where there are long videos online that people, and what is it that people stream their video game playing
Twitch?
On? Yeah, they get people, tens of thousands of people watching them create their flight plan. They book their flight plan. I'm flying from Porto, Portugal to Miami tonight. And then really, they just take off. And they fly over the ocean and they land in real time, hours. And there are people.
That's kind of cool.
Is it?
I mean, I don't. Well, I say cool. I guess it's not cool. I think it's interesting. I know I've seen people do the trucking stuff too, like the trucking simulators, and that they'll do that real time.
They're just not doing anything. Like that's a thing that people in real life, like I think flying that long of a distance, a pilot's not doing much. Once they're up in the air, it's autopilot and they're sitting there and sure they're having some kind of communications and monitoring things. But for the most part,
how do they stay engaged when there isn't that much to do?
They're professionals. I mean, there's a lot at stake. So
I wonder if that's difficult. I
mean, in any kind of long haul flight, really long, I don't know what the limitations are on hours. They switch out pilots.
They sleep and stuff.
No, they switch them out. They're not allowed to sleep in the cockpit, but they have.
No, I know. They switch out. They like there's that secret area where there's like beds where they sleep.
Yeah, they just bare bones mat that they sleep on and a port to plug in their phone.
Yeah, and I think like an alarm. That like as in danger, like hey, there's danger. You need to get up.
But it's funny. Well, like anything else too, because this is online and other people can come in. If you watch the flight simulator stuff, there's some interesting videos because there are people who go in and don't taxi properly and take off improperly without the clearance from air traffic control, and they don't listen to ground traffic control's instructions, and they wreak havoc at an airport, and the serious players don't take kindly to it.
I bet they don't.
And they get so angry.
That's funny. I would be like that though. I would at first be the person that's like, I don't know, just like trying to do it and messing people up, and then I would get really into it, and then I would be mad at the people that were messing it up.
It looks good. The graphics these days, the new release looks like if you tune into a video and you don't know, you think that maybe it's a live stream of someone actually flying.
Really?
Yeah, it looks really good.
See, that's cool. I'm into that. I think that's interesting.
I understand that there's appeal to it, but I really like people invest a lot of money. They get rudders that they plug in as a controller and the proper cockpit like controls and throttle. And
it's like weighted and probably feels specific ways.
Again, what do I care ultimately if someone's enjoying it and getting value out of it? But it's just so strange. Like I could see doing it. And I did have a Microsoft Flight Simulator, one of the early ones when it was like 4 different cities you could fly in. And the graphics probably were crap at the time. Like, whoa, this is amazing. And in between cities was nothing. Like now apparently
they didn't render anything.
Yeah, apparently now when you fly, it's like everything is accurate. They just take real actual satellite imagery and they've built the whole world or most of the world.
That's really convenient for them. Right? Because they could just sort of plug and play that a little bit.
Yeah. But when I would play it before, and if I went on long flights, I'd speed it up. I was like, all right, we're going to go to 12 times speed now. Because I don't want to sit here and do this for hours.
Oh, I run SimCity on cheetah mode. And that's like month.
Well, that's why you're losing money.
February, March, April, May.
Because in SimCity, it does become complex. I enjoyed SimCity, but I would turn off the disasters because they drove me insane.
They're so annoying. I feel like I'm cheating, but I also turn off disasters because it's just one thing after the other and so many fires. I feel like I would allow disasters if fires were easier to contain.
I think the fires are common, especially in big cities. I think what should happen is you hire the fire department and they do the fucking job. You don't need to go out and suddenly direct your fire trucks and surround the fire and contain it. That's the annoying part. And then also,
even the police, there's nothing for them to do.
Yeah, but crime will go up if you don't have good police.
You have to put police.
And then people move out and you get dilapidated buildings and the areas turn gray. The swatches of residential
That's usually because there's not enough commercial or industry near them.
Well, I mean, this is the thing. It's a very nuanced game. There's a lot of things you have to do to keep people happy. And people, as we know, are notorious at complaining and being unhappy. So, I don't have enough electricity. Boo-hoo. Your rent's low.
Well, I mean, come on. Electricity, it's the water. Electricity is not that bad. Electricity is not that difficult to maintain. Especially if you turn off disasters, then your stupid power plant will not, especially when you're on cheetah mode. I think it lasts like 6 years or something. So you run out of power super quick. You have to constantly be replacing it. But when you turn the disasters off, I think it lasts a bit longer. But it's
because your power plants would melt down, right? If you had a nuclear power plant, couldn't it melt down, or don't other ones explode?
They all explode. Like all the ones, if you let it blow, like if you let it die out, it'll just explode. And then, but it doesn't cause a fire.
Does it render the land useless at that point?
No.
Or you have to clean it up?
Nope, you don't even have to clean it up. You just plop another one back on.
Oh, I liked microwave. I like the microwave. They looked cool.
Yeah, they do look cool. I like nuclear because I'm pro-nuclear, just in general. So I like to make my SimCity nuclear.
You're pro-nuclear, huh?
Yeah.
Why is that?
Because it's clean and efficient and doesn't cost people's lives. Unless there's a meltdown, and that's probably most likely not going to happen.
I mean, you're right. I don't mean to laugh fully at it, but it's clean, yes.
How many people have died from nuclear stuff versus coal mining accidents?
It's impossible, right, to say. It's fair to say that so much goes into getting a coal power plant up and running, and then it pollutes the air. And
then just finding the coal is extremely damaging to the environment.
Yeah. I mean, they've leveled whole mountains in West Virginia finding coal. Nuclear, for as clean as it is, obviously the other side of it is a huge undertaking with the waste. And so you got to go and take it to the desert and bury it.
But that's never been an issue. Like that, it being disposed of has never been the problem. It's about improper plant management that I think has been the problem.
If everyone
and like natural disasters.
If everyone was on nuclear, though, there'd be a lot of waste. Again, these are the arguments, obviously, for the different types of power plants. I don't necessarily disagree. I think the downside to nuclear is if something goes wrong, it is huge. Like a very bad thing happens.
If it goes wrong, it goes very wrong.
Yes. And even here in New York, I think up the Hudson River, there's a nuclear plant. And if it had a meltdown, it's not in an isolated area. Indian Point.
It's like
Indian Point Energy Center. I'm surprised they haven't changed the name at this point.
Well, it is New York. It's like
It's 36 miles north of Midtown Manhattan. That's it.
Wow.
And, if the meltdown happened and the wind was blowing in the proper direction, not to mention the river being there, like bad things are going to happen. And there's been pushes to close it down because of that. I think they are in the process of closing it down. And at some point they were going to build one on Long Island and the funding was there and they started, but then that one never came to completion. But steam, that's what it releases into the atmosphere, right?
Yeah. There's a nuclear power plant in Maryland.
There's one that you can see, like when I fly back to New York. I don't know if it's Maryland, but you can see it in the distance. It's in that area, Delaware, Maryland.
Oh, this is like south of DC.
I don't know if it's the same one, but I always like...
it's kind of Delaware. I see. I could see where that might be it.
In the winter, when it's cold and then the steam's coming out, it's always a nice view. Look at that. It
looks pretty.
Look at that clean steam.
Clean steam. Yeah. So my SimCity is nuclear powered, even though some people don't like it in my world.
See,
they want to have like nuclear free zones.
Oh, you get protesters. The newspapers come up.
Newspapers come up and they don't like that there's nuclear, but because I turned off disasters, I don't get riots.
What do they want?
I don't know. Maybe microwave. Oh, or there's like a magnet looking one that shows up after a certain amount of years. Like it depends on what year you start. It's invented at some point and then you can use it, but it's like $40,000.
Man, it's been so long since I played this game.
It's just fusion.
Well, the fusion is not real, but if we could ever get to that point, that's the dream.
I don't really know anything about I don't know what that is. I didn't think it was like a real option in the real world.
Fusion?
Yeah.
And so it powers the sun. So there would be, in essence, the same reaction happening in the sun is what we would do. They would fuse. Where nuclear is splitting, molecules and atoms, fusions forcing them together.
Oh, okay.
And I can't speak to it in depth, but I know that the waste is very different.
Is that what they're hoping to do with places like CERN? They're like smashing atoms into each other.
Fusion, I'm not ignoring what you're saying. I don't know exactly what their experiments are or why they're doing them. What are they up to? What the hope is. The byproduct of nuclear fusion is helium. And we're running out of helium.
More balloons.
We're running out of helium.
How do they fill those tanks with helium?
That's a whole different topic for a different
Where
time.
does helium come from?
I don't. We're running out of it. It's all I know.
From where?
I don't know. And just offering up a rhetorical question on the show, I don't like doing that because I think people would want to have the answer.
Natural deposits. Despite being the most commonest, but despite being the commonest element. Now, I don't believe anything this says because of that. Why doesn't it say, despite being the most common element in the universe, helium is quite rare on the Earth. Helium is generated deep underground through the natural radioactive decay of elements such as uranium and thorium.
And soon...
aluminum is supposed to be aluminium. It has the ium, just like every other element thing, but we decided no. Aluminum.
It got changed. People say Caribbean.
The folklore behind it is that it was it was a telegraph and they misspelled it. And so so then like Americans just always called it aluminum.
Well, it doesn't surprise me. I mean, you're not going to change people at that point because they don't necessarily care or think about these things. But like Caribbean's actually Caribbean. It should be pronounced Caribbean because the native people of the land, which I wish I could, were Caribs, I think.
Oh.
So Caribbean.
I just didn't know. I felt like there were some things that I would say Caribbean and some things I would say Caribbean. Like I would say a Caribbean cruise, but I might say Caribbean food.
That makes sense.
And like pecan is the same way. I don't say pecan sandies. I say pecan sandies. But I would say a pecan tree. Pecan sandies.
Yeah, I guess there is a difference between those two. I would do the same thing.
Pecan.
I tend to just not even, in a spot where I need to say pecan, I don't say it at all.
Or caramel is really hard too. Caramel or caramel?
It's caramel.
I think I say like caramel corn.
Well, if you're going to
caramel corn.
Yeah, but look at how it's spelled.
Caramel.
No, it's not caramel. Caramel.
Caramel.
Anyway, what were you talking about? Oh, fusion. Fusion, we were talking about helium, but fusion does have a little bit of waste, but it's not unstable like fission, which is what we've got now. That's the dream. If you want to make a lot of money, figure it out. I'm sure there's people working on it. Doc Ock did and Spider-Man 2. He created that little sun, if you recall. But then became unstable. Then it became unstable. And he insisted, though, that they continue at it. Because he just wanted to help the world. He wasn't just a misunderstood guy. I think back, though, during the time of SimCity 2000, I also played Sim Ant, which had a better soundtrack. It was much better music.
Oh, it's so much more funky.
What a weird game, though. Hey, you're going to create your own ant colony. And you can play...
I mean, they are intricate, but I don't know enough about what ants require out of their burrows.
Well, you will play the different types of ants. You're a worker ant or a soldier ant. You could be the queen ant. You could switch.
I've never played it.
I think you started as the queen and you had to find a place to start your colony. And usually it was outside in the yard and things would happen like the lawnmower would come over and you had to be prepared. This was the equivalent of disasters, or a spider would show up and you would have to fight it. But if you weren't a big enough colony or you weren't prepared, the spider would eat a lot of you. You'd have to go kill caterpillars for food. But one of my favorite things was like invading the house Once you had
finding the crumbs.
once you had your colony big enough, you could. I think being in the house was more dangerous because obviously the humans don't want you there. But it was I don't remember. No, my friend had it. I think it was for Super Nintendo, but consoles always did stink for these games. They weren't prepared. PC versions.
No, it's all about the PC.
Yeah, PC versions were much better. In SimCity 2000, I did spend a lot of time playing. I never successfully built a subway system.
Oh, yeah. I've done the subway system. I've played around with the subway system.
It's a lot. It's expensive, right?
Yeah.
And I just feel like the interface was difficult, laying the tubes.
Yeah, it is difficult, especially visually. But there's ways to turn off like the other pipes in the roads and things but then you kind of want to follow the roads.
With the subways, yeah. You want them to make sense.
I didn't really understand. And the rail system, like why do people use that?
As transportation, rail?
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't know. That's just
highways is the way to go. But you got to start highways early or else you're destroying your world to like build highways.
Eminent domain, baby. Fuck your house and life. You got to build a highway. That's the worst.
Density residential, get out of here. It's time for high density, bitch.
That's the worst way to go.
No, but that's how you build your population so that you can get the
arcologies. Which I always wanted to live in the launch arcology.
Oh, I liked the tree one.
The forest?
Yeah.
What were the other ones?
I was really into Fern Gully, though.
Yeah, I think people who live in that one get bored, if I remember correctly.
Oh, really? I don't feel like I know that I've gotten to that place before as a much younger person. Replaying it now is really difficult to get to that population. I don't understand how I did it.
No, I used to build all the launch arcologies. I would throw in some forests. The Plymouth was ugly. The Darko was the scary one.
Darko was, yeah.
That was the one that was asymmetrical. It looked like it was falling apart. But the Plymouth, I think, was the cheapest. But to me, it made me think of the Great Walled City. You ever look that place up? It was one of the densest places on Earth.
No.
It was, what was it? It started with a K. Even if I looked it up, I don't know. Kowloon Walled City, I think it was. That's it. That I'm looking it up. That is what it was. And it was in Hong Kong, and it was one of the densest places on.
Oh, yes. I have seen that. Where it's like people just building and building and building. There's no real regulation about how it was being built.
Yeah, it's gone now.
Right.
Which is a shame. I mean, maybe not a shame.
Not for the people there.
Yeah, people did live there, and then they were displaced. I'm not saying that it was a great quality of life, but as a place to explore, like just these dark passages where no sunlight would come in, and these apartments that people lived in, God knows what they were like on the inside, and no natural light was getting in. And for whatever reason, that Plymouth arcology made me think of those.
I don't understand how people, like, I know that there's a thing, I guess it's in Japan too, maybe, where people live in like teensy little areas and they just live like in a closet, basically. How do they do that? Why? I understand. I guess I understand why they have to do that. Things are expensive and it's insane, but
I guess you go out into the world more. It forces you out of the apartment, or you sit there and you become really depressed.
Yeah, that would be me.
Oh, good. The buzz is gone. You had a little buzz going, and I was worried it wasn't going to go away, but it disappeared.
Ah, magic.
What, you would just stay inside? No, that would be me. I'd be the one who'd stayed inside. You, that would be me. Yeah, right.
I think it would be really depressing to come back to your hovel like that. I think I'd be miserable.
I wouldn't mind it. Like
no bathroom. Like the bathroom's probably so scary and gross.
When I lived in that really small apartment on Sullivan Street here in New York, I liked the idea that this was the only space in the city where nobody else was allowed. It was my own little retreat in the middle of this big city with so many people. Now, the days I spent when I was after the radio job went away and I wasn't working full time and I wasn't making much of an effort to work full time, spending too much time in there watching SUV, SVU, yeah, SVU, Law and Order marathons on TV. I was like, oh my God, it got very depressing. And that would have happened anywhere, surely.
Especially in the winter or something, even if you want to get out, but the weather's so bad and it's
dark at 4:30, my favorite.
Well, that's different. But I mean, just like getting out, if the outside is your only way out of this tiny, maybe sometimes soul crushing area, and then it's difficult to be outside because of the weather or because of the city or whatever, I think that it would be too hard for me.
It would be difficult. And I think that kind of lifestyle that I'm describing in any kind of dwelling would catch up with you. But when you're in a small 250, 75 square foot apartment without much natural light, it catches up pretty quickly.
Yeah.
So
you watched SVU?
Yeah.
Was it good?
Yeah. It's good. It's disturbing quite often. Ripped from the headlines, they say. These are real stories. I mean,
is that with Ice Cube?
There's monsters.
I mean,
out
Ice-T?
there. Yeah, Ice-T is in the show.
Have
Anyway,
you seen his kid that he had with that lady?
No, I haven't seen it. Coco?
Good.
Is that her name, Coco?
I think so. Their kid looks weird, that's all.
Wait, so what are you playing this game on?
My computer.
Because I would be interested in playing it again. I think I would play completely differently. I'm sure that most people like set it up so they're on a beach or there's a lot of water. I used to hate the water. And I used to hate the mountains. I used to just...
Oh, I know. I flatten it all.
I made a very flat city with no water.
Oh, I like having the water because everybody needs water. And there's always a water shortage.
I know, but my goal was to make the densest, biggest city possible.
Make the Kowloon.
Yeah, that's why you're talking about high density housing. I think I allowed that everywhere.
I wonder if you could make it like this, like a flower or something, like the center is all high density and then the ring outside of that is, commercial and then industry. I bet you that wouldn't work because they all have to be.
When people have to commute.
Commercial doesn't love being next to industry. They like being near. Anyway, this is all just stuff that I've been learning over the last 6 months playing it.
There's a reason the game has staying power because it was a good game. Again, the natural disasters, which included an alien invasion, were pretty stupid sometimes.
Yeah.
It shouldn't happen.
I remember thinking that was so cool though when I was a kid.
Yeah, it's a cool thing. It became the mascot of the game. It shows up at the opening title card.
Yeah. I loved also those theme park simulators.
Well, Roller Coaster Tycoon. Yeah, I was going to bring that up. Because I played Sim Ant and I was playing Roller Coaster Tycoon. And no matter how the day was at the amusement park, I would make sure to have a fireworks show to send people
Really?
home.
That's so nice.
I like the idea of a fireworks show closing the night. But
you're so nice to your population.
I mean, but it's always you got to do this balance. I got to make my money. And it's it's supposed to make you think, oh, now I know why businesses charge so much because the overhead and cost of operation. And
right. I'm charging, I need to charge more for this lemonade. But the customers are complaining that the lemonade's too expensive.
And they're actually not buying it.
Oh, no.
It didn't teach me any lessons on that front. If I go into a place that's overpriced, I give them a big F you. Not aloud in my head, and then I refuse to go in. Or I hate every minute of it and resent the fact that they got my money. That they did here in New York, apparently. Port Authority, which runs the airports, said that they're going to control pricing at the airports.
Awesome. Because there's a lot of gouging that goes on at the airport. You're stuck there. There
was a beer that was sold, like a Sam Adams pumpkin or some shit. Maybe it's a Brooklyn Lager. I don't know exactly what it was, but something on par with that. It was like $30.
What?
And they say it was a mistake in the system, but the other beers are like $20.
Yeah, it's still too much. I mean, I feel like that's legitimate. I mean, I don't think that prices need to be regulated across the board because that seems like maybe a bad slippery slope sort of thing. But at the airport, especially the way that flights and things have been going lately. And then not only are they not calling it canceling the flight, even though it gets delayed 15 times and then gets pushed to the next day and then gets delayed some more. You know what I mean? And people are stuck at the airport, and then airlines aren't giving vouchers because if you read the rules, it's not canceled, so they can't, or you like booked it through this and so you can't get it, you know, and then they're just stuck at the airport and they have to buy a $30 beer.
Yeah, they don't.
This really shitty chicken salad sandwich was $15.
Yeah, they get you. They always say, don't leave, though, just because it could always go back. The time could always shift back, so it's on you to hang around.
Right. It's like, well, I'm broke. I'm in debt now. Because I was delayed at the airport.
Flying absolutely stinks. I think that's the nice thing about Mercedes-Benz Stadium in Atlanta. I haven't been, but I hear the pricing is on par with what you'd expect a hot dog to cost.
Really?
Well, really, you should expect a hot dog to cost 30 cents, but I think it's like $2 or something.
Oh, excellent.
Which is a nice thing because most stadiums, you know, it's another cat. Any place.
Oh, that like shitty like gas station nacho thing with the cheese, that plastic cheese. Yeah, I could see them charging $6 for that.
Any place you're captive, right? They get you.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Again, what are you going to do? Either it's this or nothing. And quite often I will opt for nothing.
Right.
Same with movie theaters, though I can understand movie theaters a bit more because that's how they make most of their money. I still sneak
But it is
candy.
ridiculous, especially when like TikTokers who work at the movie theater will show you that the popcorn sizes don't mean anything.
What do they show?
They show, so it's the person is behind the counter. The person comes up and they order the small popcorn, which is just in the plastic, like, you know, like a bag, right? And so they put it in, and the person changes their mind. He's like, actually, I'll take the next size up, the medium. And then they're like, okay. And then they take the bucket that's the medium, and then he pours the contents of the paper bag into the bucket, and it fills it up. It's the same exact amount of popcorn.
Well, good. Nobody needs the large anyway. I get the small, and I barely finish that. I quite often don't finish that.
I get sick off movie theater popcorn. It makes me nauseous afterwards. It hurts my stomach.
Yeah, it does. It has that effect. I think it's when you add the fake butter.
I think too, it's like addicting. And so I don't want to keep eating it, but something makes me keep eating it.
It's the only thing you can't sneak in. I mean, I guess you could try, but it's like sneaking candy in. It's pretty easy.
I remember before I was carrying a water bottle around and we were going into a movie theater and they said I couldn't bring it in. It was a water bottle. Like a Nalgene, you know, not like a plastic water bottle, but like one that you carry around. And I said, I was struck by lightning and I have to drink a bunch of water. He's like, oh, okay.
Yeah, I'm sure he believed it.
It's a real thing. My cousin was struck by lightning and she had to drink a bunch of water.
Does she have that cool pattern on her body?
I don't think so. I don't know. Maybe she does.
That branching tree that it leaves behind?
Yeah. She also had her fingertips cut off at the ice skating rink. She had them sewed back on.
When did someone run over her hand?
Yeah, it was her boyfriend and now her husband who did it.
Ew. How much of the tips were cut off?
I don't know, but she's numb in the tips of her fingers.
Was it bone? It wasn't bone. It was just the flesh. So the very tips.
Yeah, but then they wouldn't sew that back on, would they?
They would sew it back on. If it's a big chunk, they're going to sew it back on. They got to find a way to cover up the wound.
Ew.
It's like when they amputate, they don't cut off all the skin. They keep some to flop it over.
Oh, yeah. And you know, they say, those amputees, they'll say the part that they're touching that's face up, it used to face down. And so for them, it feels like they're touching the back of that, even though it's the front.
Yeah. If you can twist your tongue in your mouth, you grab it and you twist it, and then you touch the right side, you feel it on your left because it's twisted and upside down, but it's still an odd sensation because you're touching one side. You're like, oh, I should feel it on that side. You feel it on the other. Or it's like if a guy gets hit in the balls and he feels it in his stomach.
Yeah, I found out this week that when you're hitting the nuts that you feel like you have to poop.
Nah, Eric said that. I don't know. I didn't feel like that. It really hurts. It's like the worst wind being knocked out of you ever. I mean, it's just, I guess in that whole general area, but like because they descended, the nerves are still up inside.
Right.
And so when you get hit there, you feel it higher up, but no, it does not feel good. And I could see why it's being said, but the time it's happened to me, I never thought, I'm about to shit my pants. That didn't.
Yeah, I'd never heard that before.
That didn't come to light.
He had diarrhea after getting hit in the nuts.
Yeah, I'm sure it's happened. I don't know. I think it's just there's so much pain that maybe someone's response is, your body goes into overdrive and loosens up or whatever. Like you lose control because there's so much pain and it comes pouring out.
If Pete gets hit in the nuts at all, he'll go like, "Oh, my bulbs," because he thinks you're saying bulbs instead of balls.
He's gonna remember that his whole life.
My bulbs.
When you're a kid, you remember those things.
Yeah.
I don't have any examples off the top of my head, but I feel like there's probably an instance where I would get something wrong or thought it was something else. And then it sticks with you. It'll tell people, I used to think it was called bulbs.
Well, I've told him a couple times, it's balls. And like, and then he still calls them bulbs.
And everyone will say, you thought it was bulbs.
You idiot. I try and shame him as much as I can for making mistakes.
Good. That's the best motivating factor.
Yeah.
I mean, in essence, in SimCity, that's what they do with the newspaper that pops up.
That newspaper. You have to be subscribed to one of them because it has to tell you, I guess, that your power plant is exploding or that a river is going to flood or that your population is getting bigger. And so now you have like a statue you can put up. I hate that newspaper. I put it on auto budget. I'm like, get the fuck out of my face. Stop bothering me.
Yeah, I'd like to play it now. I wonder if there's a version for Mac, a port of sorts.
If you go to retrogames.cz.
Yeah, but if you're playing on a PC, you have a PC. I don't have a PC.
It doesn't matter. It's a website.
Retro games.
You don't download it.
What?
It's just a streaming thing. Retro games.
That's CZ.
Yeah, I think it's like Czech or something.
Wow, this sounds like a scam. What are they doing? They're tracking you, like watching your camera.
I play Tetris on it. I played Bubble Bobble. I played Adventures of Lolo. I played 1, 2, and 3 Adventures of Lolo and beat all of them. You should look on there, see if they have Sim Ants. They do.
That's Bubble Bobble.
The Electronic Ant Colony.
You should try that one. I think you'll enjoy it.
I will.
SimCity. Well, I don't think we really talked about SimCity much, but
that's all right. It's before vacation. It's before 4th of July.
It's before the 4th of July.
There's a lot going on in the world that I don't want to talk about or make the show about. So
that's an excuse to do a piss poor episode. I don't think it was piss poor.
It's just a chatty episode. That's all.
Yeah, I don't think it was piss poor. I just don't know what it was really about.
I don't either.
Let me see. SimCity music will take us out, even though you hate it.
I do.
It is bad. Is there music throughout, like when you're playing?
Yeah, that's why you have to turn it off.
Is it this?
I don't know because I don't ever play. I immediately turn the music off.
Music, like the names of the people are here. They shouldn't be proud of this. Brian Conrad, Sue Casper, Justin McCormick.
Yeah, it's really, really bad.
It is bad. I do not admit. I mean, I do admit.
Maniac Mansion's way better.
I do admit that it stinks.
All right. Well, thank you everyone for listening. Go out and build your own SimCity.
SimCity 3000. Was that the one that came out?
I think that's what year was it? It was like 2012.
Yeah, I just see it here. Music.
Yeah, that one's crazy.
Let's take a listen to SimCity 3000's music.
Let's see.
No, oh my God, an ad or something's going to pop up, isn't it? It's so weird.
Build the town.
We even talk about The Sims and the Sim game. We even talk about Roller Coaster Tycoon that much, even though it came up.
I loved playing The Sims. I was really into The Sims.
Roller Coaster Tycoon with the barf. I didn't like having to clean up the barf. You had to have enough janitors because all the idiots who couldn't hold their stomachs riding your brilliant roller coaster. And you spent a lot of money designing and time and effort, engineering.
There's somebody on TikTok that makes roller coasters in Roller Coaster Tycoon and then does the simulation of the ride. And a lot of times you just die on it. The one that I watched recently was this super long incline, just like tick, 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 going up and up and up, incredibly long. And then you go straight down, and then you're in loops, and then you just fly off. It was a really funny payoff for how much time you had to invest to watch it.
The Sims, I know there were many games. I only played Bustin' Out, and I couldn't stand it. It just frustrated the hell out of me. I don't know which one.
Maybe I also played Bustin' Out.
It frustrated the hell out of me because you had to get a job. Like the Bustin' Out, I think, was the one like you got on a career path at the beginning. You picked what you wanted to be, and you had to get to work every day. But then it's like, I'm not getting enough food. I'm not getting enough sleep. I have to go to the bathroom. I'm not getting enough interaction with people. And there was just no time. It was zero time to do stuff.
I always wanted to see them like have sex and be naked. I always wanted to remove I would, search how to remove the pixelation.
Did you find an answer of how to do it?
No. Yeah, I don't think it was in the game. I think you could.
Well, if it was created by Rockstar, there would have been a back door. It's like, look.
Do they have that for Vice City?
There's one of them. I think San Andreas. There's something. Or there's a sex scene that you can hack into somehow.
I'm sure it was so good. The animation, like of those girls walking and stuff, the way that they walked, or even like the dancing in the strip club that they did was so weird.
They didn't have movement down completely yet.
No, they sure didn't.
Man, that stupid Sim voice though. I hear him making the noise now because let's go to the bathroom. I'm showing you. Then you go. Like,
yeah. Ha ha hoo ha.
Yeah, something like that. But there's a big following of those games. I wanted to get into it. I saw the appeal. I just didn't feel like it was realistic, and it was just stressful. There was nothing fun about it.
Oh, see, you need to play it where, like, a lot of people. Again, this is also through TikTok, where people will build something for their Sims to live in, and then like get a bunch of Sims to live there, and then they'll remove something. From the building, and then they all fall to the ground.
Sure.
Or like they'll enslave them and put them in basements and stuff.
Yeah, I don't. Sure.
Drown them in pools.
It's like I actually wanted to play the game. I have this thought that maybe that's a real person out there. Just like maybe our life is a simulation, and locking them up is something I want to do in the off chance that they're real, and I wanted them to have a nice life, but I could never do it. They're also inept, taking other cues from me.
Learning how to play the violin.
Okay.
I'm going to make mine learn how to play the violin. Thanks, everybody, for listening. Enjoy. Support our sponsor, hoffandpepper.com. Use our code ONETOPIC15 for 15% off. Do it now. Okay, bye. Woo!